I like this one better. All right. Peace and blessings. Happy Wednesday. Today Wednesday. I feel like Thursday. I'm waiting on my TV show to come on. Today one of my favorite TV shows come on again. I watch free TV. I ain't finna pay for no nothing. They got Tubi. That's basically what I mess with. I don't care about anything else. They got TV shows on there you can watch. It's the same as cable and whatever else. They got TV shows and movies. So yeah, it works for me. I don't have to watch the latest, the greatest, and of course, they always had those sites, and I don't condone it. I don't recommend it either. But hey, to each his own, right? That's why they're available. Anyway, peace and blessings. Happy Wednesday. Today is December 10th, 2025, and I like to put positive vibes out to the universe. By doing so, I read from my book of inspiration, inspired by the Bible, written by Sarah Young, called Enjoying Peace in His Presence, Jesus Calling. And this is the word for today. I actually read this last night, but we're going to read it again. Make the focal point of your search for security in your private thoughts. You are still trying to order your world so that it is predictable and feels safe. Not only is this an impossible goal, but it is also counterproductive to spiritual growth. When your private world feels unsteady, you grip my hand for support. You are living in a conscious dependence on me instead of yearning for a problem free life. Rejoice that trouble can highlight your awareness of my presence. In darkness of adversity, you are able to see more clearly the radiance of my face. Accept the value of problems in this life, considering them pure joy. Remember that you have an eternity of trouble free living awaiting you in heaven. And this was inspired by the book of Psalms, chapter 139, verse 10. Also, the book of James, chapter 1, verse 2. And last but never the least, the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. This is the word for today of December 10th. Make the focal point of your search for security in your thoughts. Keep your mind on Christ when the world seems to be falling apart. I see everybody's mind is on celebrity gossip. Everybody's mind is on taking part in the distractions of the world. Meanwhile, what's going on are people being picked up like targets for play, for rich people's sport, for their entertainment. They always use us for entertainment, right? And we fall apart because we don't have any trust in the Lord. We don't look to the Lord for guidance or for resources or for inspiration for anything. This new world that we're in, this new age of arrogance and of what you want to call it, self worship, this whole conscious movement that's going on, do as thy will. You're easy to manifest whatever you want. You are God, we're demigods. Worship your own self, take God out the picture. They're trying to attack Christmas. They don't want Jesus to be the center focal point of the holiday, the reason for the season. It's a lot of stuff going on, but people don't know because people don't care to know. They're too distracted with all of the nonsense that's going on. Too busy picking sides for somebody to hate. Idol worshiping. Me too. What do you mean? What do I mean, right? 50 Cent, Diddy, Marlon Wayans, what's the girl name? With Charlemagne, Hot 97 or something like that. I forget the host out as well. They like woo the woo. But basically, I see a lot of people worshiping their idols, right? So distracted on what their idols are doing, and that's exactly what it is. Whenever you have time to just participate in this type of nonsense, you're drifting away. Meanwhile, stuff like this is going on. Epstein, more islands than ever. Billionaires who are just laughing at these distractions and the puppets that they have, why they continuously try to clean up their messes. This month that just happened, 600 people targeted, Hunger Games. That was not just entertainment. That's something that's really going on in this world. Something that we should be talking about besides this Diddy and 50 Cent stuff. But just check out what's going going on though, right? Let me just
632 people brought to the island. Survivors. Marcus Webb, former Marine, homeless veteran living on the streets of Savannah. Taken to the island in October 2024. Released, hunted for 48 hours, shot twice, left. But Marcus didn't die. He survived. Swam 4 miles through shark-infested waters to the mainland. Stumbled into a Georgia State Trooper station. Covered in blood, delirious, barely alive, they hunt people, he gasped. On an island, rich people, they hunt. This is Operation Apex. The FBI's infiltration of the most exclusive and organization in American history. Sanctuary Island wasn't just about humans. It was about power, proving that.
before we carry on, let me just briefly catch you guys. What they doing is promising people a way of a better life. $100,000 passport to go wherever you want if you make it out of the 48 hours. I'm pretty sure they don't know that you're finna be hunted down. You know what I'm saying? They just saying they're dropping them off at an island and to survive 48 hours type of situation. Sounds like a good deal, right? You go to an island just like Naked and Afraid or Alone. They drop you off in an island, promise you a couple of dollars, and if you survive, you get paid. You get that reward. So this is what's getting people to go. And what people are they attacking? What people are they targeting? Human beings, homeless individuals, people who are out on the streets. And as you can see, this veteran who was just telling his case, a survivor, he made it. He was a homeless guy, and a lot of our veterans who fight for this nation who end up, coming back to the states to be homeless, to be not taken care of, the veterans. Some of them were drafted and some of them went voluntarily, but nevertheless, they should never be treated in this way as far as protecting our country and coming back to not even have any type of decency or respect for to be able to maintain. These people are traumatized, some of them need counseling, some of them need therapy, some of them need just another steady hand because the army isn't paying them like that. Hear a lot of these cases, and this is what tempts these people to go get in these situations willingly, unwillingly, knowing, unknowingly. But he broke the door wide open on what's going on over there because he skated back to Georgia. This is a little island off of Georgia called I don't know, I forgot what. There, let's carry on and see. They might bring it up again, might not. I don't know, but I'll run it back just to
Do anything, even murder. And when FBI, they found something that made even hardened agents break down. A trophy room with photographs. All the people who died, displayed like big game kills. If you support FBI agents who hunt the hunters, hit like now. Human hunting isn't new. History is filled with examples. Rome, medieval modern dictators. The powerful have always found ways to hunt the powerless. But in America, in the 21st, billionaires had created an legal protection infrastructure for legal protections, financial, complete immunity. The Apex Society was founded by Blackstone. Tech net worth $12 billion. Made his fortune in cyber security. Sold his company unlimited wealth, unlimited time. Boom.
And I just want that to be known as well. It's new millionaires, new billionaires, new wealthy families. And he took advantage, just like they're already making the proposal, the bills of what they're going to spend the money for next year, 2026. How much is going to what industry, how much is going to what departments or whatnot. And tech, AI, energy, these are 3 top industries that are going to be flooded with billions of dollars. Why am I saying this and why is this important? Creativity. If you can spend time creating, you can spend time enjoying fruits of your labor, right? It takes time to be creative. It takes time to use your mind. It takes time to shuffle through these thoughts to figure things out. With that being said, if you are a creator, this is the perfect time to jump into AI, jump into energy, whether you have any ideas or you want to just invest in stocks, ETFs, any new energy companies like everybody gets energy from different sources out here. They got Michigan, Indiana source. And the thing about that is, right, you want to go to the people that's funding them. So those are the new companies that are going to be the new millionaires and the new people that's going to be coming up with those companies, just like uh, film, right, and entertainment, how Netflix came up. You didn't have to be a filmmaker. You didn't have to be a producing company. All you had to do was invest with a company that's already making the moves, and you could have came up with them. Just like Crackling. I think it's Kraken. Some I don't know. Kraken or Klarna, one of the two. I'm gonna have to look back in my investment portfolio. But they just made new millionaires as well. Tech, right? These high tech companies, who's helping making the materials for the tech company. These are the people who are gonna be in position, the new millionaires for next year. While people focus on the stuff that don't matter, they miss out on these moves, miss out on these opportunities. You don't be able to be in position because when it happens, it's happened. Now you're playing catch up. For a lot of these people, they're looking for a way to take care of themselves. Unfortunately, this was what they were offered. But this guy, he he ain't a old billionaire. He just got his wealth 2018. Hold on, let me run it back just a bit.
Factor for $8 billion in 2018.
He made that $8 billion with cybersecurity, which was a big thing back then. You know, a lot of people already took advantage of that. Majority of cybersecurity, which is still a good thing because AI is basically what they gave it to help the cybersecurity stuff. Let me run it back so you can hear this one more time. This guy, what he did and how he made these billions of dollars and how you can make these billions as well. But the thing about it, it's not about who has the power. It's about, I mean, it's not about power. It's not about having the money, right? It's about what you're doing with it. These people use their position to bring other people down, of course, as you can see what's going on. They hunt human for gain, for sport and entertainment.
Society was founded by Richard Black, tech billionaire, net worth $12 billion, made his fortune in cybersecurity, sold his company to a defense $8 billion in 2018, retired at 4, unlimited wealth, unlimited time, and a growing boredom conventional life. I experienced everything legal wealth can buy, he told a journalist in a rare interview. Yachts, jets, exotic cars, beautiful women. After a while, it's all the same. Billionaires seek new experiences, new challenges, new frontiers. Interview was in 2019. 6 more he purchased Sanctuary Island. Blackstone recruited 11 other members, each worth at least $10 billion, each seeking something beyond conventional experiences. The membership was international. 3 Americans, 2 Russians, 1 Chinese, 1 German, 1 French. Blackstone explained during a secret member meeting recorded by FBI years later. A place where laws don't exist, where society's restrictions don't apply. Where we can experience pure freedom to hunt, to kill, to prove we're apex predators, not just economically, but physically primal. The infrastructure required was extensive. Private island purchase $47 million. Lease $23 million. Security systems and all.
So of his billions, you know what I'm saying? It's like $1 to get all of this stuff. These couple millions, there's not even 900 million yet. You need 999 million plus another what 100,000 just to have that $1 billion. They not even scratching the surface on. He got like 41 billion. These niggas just playing with this money, like they doing whatever, right? pennies off a dollar basically to set up this whole little account. And then he got other people, they got like 12 billion, 21 billion. They up there like in the tens of billions, which is a little bit of money compared to the Arabian prince, the Egyptian princess, these people playing with trillions of dollars. So just imagine how their influences was on these billionaires. They got one of them in the count from two Saudis. They got that money over there. You know what they doing over there in Dubai? Tossing you off the building if you ain't following suit. They had police working with them. The DMV, they got all everybody passports and all of that. They got this on lock. At least they think so, you know. And people will be trying to expose what's going on. But look how many people they got on deck that's like minded with them. Uh, yeah, look at all these people, Joe. And we think Diddy a monster, which he is. But to have this type of money to do stuff like this is insane. This the best thing they could think of, you know, with their time. Look at all these guns on the table.
Annually. Transportation logistics.
And they paying $12 million off $100 bill every year just to pay your people to keep this thing going. That's why they've been doing it for so long since. Like, come on now.
Annually. Protections. 15 million in offshore accounts and political contributions. Total invest $100 million to create a hunt preserve for humans. Should wealthy individuals who hunt humans face public execution? Comment why logistics of acquiring prey was sophisticated. Apex Society employed.
And you know, so many homeless people around the world. With $100 million, you could have built a bridge, connected to Georgia, connected to another island, you know what I'm saying? Building these houses, cleaning it up. That's what godly people would do. This is what abundance is supposed to be like, you know? This is how wealth's supposed to be used. But nevertheless, you know, to each his own. When God bless you, you're not a blessing to others. You're basically storing up the warehouse for the righteous. You see how they was having all this fun, making all this money, and now all of this money is given away to who knows, right? But it's not in their possession anymore. The wicked stacks up for the righteous, and it's just like that. That's the transfer of wealth as well, you know. When you're in position, you just continuously do what you know is right and continuously carry on your race. The marathon continues. It doesn't make sense to gain wealth and destroy other people's lives. He made a nice, honest living until he started to do what he was doing with the prophets.
People who identified vulnerable targets, homeless individuals, addicts, documented immigrants, runaways, people without families, without advocates, who'd notice if they disappeared. We're offering to say a private island resort needs workers to work. $5,000 cash, no tax, transportation provided, meals included, people accepted, boarded private boats, travel to Sanctuary Island expecting work. Instead, they were imprisoned, held in underground facilities. Then they released into the jungle. You have 48 hours, would announce. Hide, survive. If you make it 48 hours without being caught, you win. $100,000. Freedom, your choice of destination. If we catch you. Nobody ever made it 48 hours. Vision, drones, trained tracking, weapons ranging from bows to rifles. Every technological advantage. Every resource. Not even shoes sometimes. One member complained during a recorded conversation. They have no chance. No real fight. Reply. This is about fair competition. It's about demonstrating dominance. They're beneath us. Economically, socially, militarily. proving that
You heard what he said, billionaire talking. They're beneath us. The same way y'all worship and uplifting these celebrities, they think and feel the same way. And there's an interview, not even an interview, a award show where Diddy was like, I'm here to grip y'all souls. I influence y'all. I tell your kids what to wear, if they gonna sag or not, what to listen to, what to watch. And he was really speaking the truth, especially with people that be following up behind these entertainers, putting them on a pedestal, worshiping these people as their idol. Every little move they make, they want to go back them up. I'm getting tired of seeing it on my Facebook, like, low key, but hey, it's entertaining. But you miss out on the real moves in life. You sitting here worried about that type of stuff. You miss out on where the money's being made, how the money's being made, and where the money's moving. Also, you end up missing these opportunities and you get desperate. Somebody like this come along, they offer you what seems to be a way out of this world, that is, because you see how they going after people who focus on different things, some people who are in bad positions, some people who have no spiritual guidance, no discernment, and some people who just have no faith in God that he can transform your situations. So they go ahead and take these so-called uh options. I want to say it's an option, yes, nevertheless, but it's not what you really want. And this is how the devil gives you things in the world. He offers you the nicest things, the quickest relief route, and it end up taking you out. You end up calling on God anyway because you realize, like, these things that the devil want to give you, they don't last. You're actually in a worse position than you even thought you was in. Now these people go in there, like you say, some people don't even have shoes on their feet, and they running through these woods, the jungles, the shark infested lakes just to get away or being targeted. Probably seeing somebody drop dead right next to you. You hearing shots from a mile away. It's chaotic. It's crazy. It's wild. But this is what's going on. Last year, one person, one person out of 600 and like 30 something, close to the 700 people since last year. Ain't no telling how many this year. They just knocked this stuff off. They just shut it down. Probably like a couple days ago. But this been going on since 2018. Ain't no telling how many people really. They 600 is a lot, but that's way under. I believe it's way higher than that, to be honest.
the hunt lasted 48 hours. Members rotated, some hunt via drone. How long each person would survive? John spotted 37 hours, one member reported during a hunt debrief. Clean shot. Through the heart. Beautiful. Mine track swim. Another said. Made it out 200 yards. Alec, does that count as my kill? They discuss human death like hunters discussing deer. Clinical, detached, amused. After each hunt, bodies were disposed of, weighted, dropped in the Atlantic, or buried deep in the island's interior. Crime scene evidence eliminated. DNA destroyed. Nothing remained added to the trophy room. 632 photos for sport. They survived, and everything changed. Marcus was a Marine. 3 tours in Afghanistan. Expert in evasion and survival. Honorably 2018, but PTSD and civilian life difficult. Couldn't afford rent. Ended up homeless in Savannah.
That's what I'm saying. For him to interact with society, become a productive member of society, you know what I'm saying? He lost a job, needs counseling, therapy, mental health awareness is important because these people are going through trauma, unresolved trauma, and can't really function in society to be a productive member of society, and it's end up being homeless and you know being caught up in situations like this to have some sense of relief, just like black men in America. We don't have any sense of relief. We don't get these opportunities. So we out here trying to figure things out. Some people they choose to do the wicked route. Some they choose to just suffer in silence, and some they choose to wait their turn until their day come. You know, not everybody is meant to be in the same position as everybody. That's why we are all individuals. You have to run your race and focus on your journey. A lot of this happens because people want to compare and compete with other people, and they end up searching for opportunities like this, only to find out that this isn't a God-given blessing. It's something that's used to blindfold you to get you to be in harm's way and to get you to be a piece of entertainment for these high-ranking officials, these billionaires, millionaires, whatever, right? The people who don't give a fuck about your life, your well-being, or you.
He was desperate. $5,000 would change his life, get him back on his feet. He accepted. The boat ride to Sanctuary Island took 3 hours.
Dog, I'll be looking up islands on how I look them up. Some of these islands, they don't even give you the name. Some of them, you can't even look on that motherfucker. You just know where it's by and who it's close to, like Twin Island, right? You can't look on that island. By Australia, they got Kangaroo Island and they got other little islands. Like that's where Twin Island is at too, above Australia just a bit. Where I think Epstein Island around there too, somewhere, I don't know. But just to say, there are a bunch of islands around, a bunch. Some of them you got to really, really zoom in to even see it. You know, they seem like these islands that these people on, they look really, really small. Then when you zoom in, there are other islands that are really, really small next to it. I mean, that's why we can't have visuals because of this type of stuff is going on. It makes you think like who else a part of this to be able to cover this type of stuff up. You know, they got satellite infiltrated. You can't even trust what's on Google Maps the way that they blocking certain images in certain places. You know, it's wild. It's like who all a part of this corruption.
Armed guards, military grade equipment. This isn't a resort, he realized. This is something else. When they understood immediately, this is a hunting preserve. I'm the prey. Different from previous victims. He was trained, combat survival expert. The Apex members hunted homeless addicts and terrified immigrants. They'd never hunted a Marine who'd survived Taliban ambushes. The first member who tracked Marcus got surprised. Marcus had set traps. Primitive but effective. The member stepped in a pit, broke his Marcus' weapon, his gear, his communication device. Man down, the member radioed. Target is armed. He's fighting back. Blackstone's response was swift. Kill him, now. Use lethal force. This can't get out of control. Marcus was already moving, using Marine tactics, cover and concealment, and ambush positions. He took down a second member, knocked him unconscious. He's ex-military. Summarized from the command center. We grabbed a trained soldier. For 48 hours, Marcus survived. He was shot clear in leg, but kept moving, kept fighting. On hour 47, realizing he'd never escape the island alive. Too many pursuers, too many resources. Marcus swam 4 miles through Atlantic waters, through sharks and currents, bleeding, exhausted, nearly dying. But Marines don't quit. He reached the mainland. A morning jogger found him, called it 911. Troopers responded.
You got to thank God for nosy white people too, especially the ones that be out jogging, because they helped save this man's life. They saw him, they called, and he was able to tell his story and put this stuff under the scope.
Everything. The island, the hunts, the dead, everything. They called FBI. How long does a typical FBI investigation of an isolated private island take? A, 30 seconds. B, 3 minutes. C. 10 minutes. Answer at the end. Agent Jennifer Hayes to Marcus' statement. Initially skeptical, his story seemed impossible. Billionaires hunting humans on a private island? It sounded like a movie. But Marcus provided details. Coordinates, names he'd overheard, equipment he'd seen, and most critically, communication device he'd taken from one of the members. But FBI cyber teams cracked it. The device revealed everything. Communications between members, hunt schedules, financial transactions, photos, video. This is real. Hayes told her supervisor. We have a hunting preserve coast, and we need to shut it down before the hunt. FBI began surveillance, satellite imagery, drone reconnaissance, monitoring communications. They identified November 23rd, 6 days away. 12 new victims already collected. Island. Can't wait, Hayes decided. 12 people will die if we don't act before hunt day. Rescue the prisoners, every member on the island. But raiding a private island 23 miles offshore required coordination. FBI, Coast Guard, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, ATF.
And Diddy, whole Charlie Kirk situation, this was unfolding at the same time. September 4th, 2025. It took them 2 hours and 20 minutes to go and bust them down. Ella Belle, Georgia. Never heard of this place. Y'all in the GA want to say anything about what y'all know about this area? Has y'all been checking out the islands, the lake, seeing, it's a 4 hours away from this part of the world right here in the States. I'm not sure if it's east, west, or whatever, but this is where the man swam to 4 hours from where he came from, shot in the arm, shot in the leg, through shark seas or whatever. Charlie Kirk situation happened in September. I'm not sure exactly what day, but yeah, this was going on. Of course, they didn't want this on the news, so the next thing they had on the news was Charlie Kirk. Government shut down, of course, right away. Now here go 50 Cent with his whatever he got y'all distracted with, Meanwhile, this type of stuff going on, and it's just one island of probably many, and this is alleged, right, for entertainment purposes. Actually, this was just last month of the 21st. It took them two down there a month and a half to actually coordinate the rescue, the shutdown. So yeah, it kind of makes sense now that this is what's going on with the 50 Cent stuff, and they try to throw the Somalians in there and what's going on, the ISIS, all of this distractions, right? Because meanwhile, this type of stuff is going on and it's taking almost 2.5 months to shut it down. It's crazy. November the 21st is when they actually went to the island, but September the 4th is when they put the plan together. Right here in America, right overseas, people are being hunted for entertainment. Meanwhile, being entertained by the false gods that they left up that don't care about them, that would easily tell you like, hey, y'all want to go with me on the island or whatever, and easily influence you all to do the same thing. They have recruiters going walking through the streets, getting these people, enticing them. Then when they get there, this the only man that realized because he has been through some stuff, war veteran, familiar with the tactics, to realize that these tactics were being done to him. So he was able to, use his training to make it out barely alive, but thank God he made it alive, and he was able to help be a major part of this operation being shut down. Hold on real quick. I didn't mean to turn the volume down. Damn. People think because they got money, they could pay for their sins. Got money, they could pay for their accountability. Just like Diddy got comfortable in his sins. It don't matter how long you doing something wrong. Wrong is wrong, and you're just setting yourself up, practicing bad habits. Indulging in negative activity. It don't matter how much you make out of this negative situation. Your day is coming. We all have a day of reckoning. And he think because he worth billions of dollars that he's untouchable. Money don't money don't save you from accountability. Whether you want to be or not, consequences are going to get you. Consequences are being handed out. God is swift with his consequences. He's slow to anger, but that don't mean playing his face like he's some soft piece of sweet candy, because ain't shit sweet. That's why everybody is just playing with God. They're taking Jesus out of the picture because they want you to F around and find out when you provoke God to anger, what's going to happen. These people are continuously playing with God's people, and he's tired of it. That's why social media, everything is online nowadays, because you have no choice to be continuously indulging in wickedness. I mean, hey, information is out there. Ignorance is bliss. A lot of people know, they see the signs and the symbols, but they don't want to actually take it for what it is. It's entertainment. It's blissful, right? It's the limelight. It's what keeps people entertained in the ignorance that they be into. They're blinded by this type of energy, this whole situation. Like this dude and the other dudes that he was with. I guess he was the head of them. I don't know his conglomerates, his teammates, or whatever you want to call these people, these individuals. But they had came for a rude awakening. Had a rude awakening. He was thinking that you can just continue on carrying on and sin, and you're not going to get caught. Whether it's now or later, eventually everything comes to the light. So that's what's foolish about men. They think they know everything until they realize they don't know enough. You don't know the half. You don't know enough. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Arrogant. Man, I can't find the word. When you self-centered, prideful, right? Look how prideful these men is. Uh, what they say before the fall. Some about the pride man before his fall, you know. And this is what it is. They're taking pictures. They're writing down stuff. You know, they're proud of this negative energy, these negative situations they're partaking in. This I don't even know how I have words for it, as you can see, as you can hear. Pride. See how a man becomes so prideful. What is a man to gain the world and lose his soul, especially from taking other souls for entertainment? He's going to be in for a rude awakening when judgment days come. You know, this is just the physical judgment, but you have a spiritual judgment as well. And we all should be preparing for that. You have to answer for your lifestyle. Whether you have much or you have little, you are accountable for your life, the way that you live it, the way that you do not live it. Whether you want to continuously live in sin because you haven't got caught and you're just starting to be more prideful, more boastful, more arrogant, you're going to have a really hard fall once you get knocked back into reality, you know. For some people, this is the time where they can hear God's voice. You know, you get so caught up in these worldly activities, it'd be hard to hear God. And I'm not trying to judge these people, not at all. I'm just saying, like, when you're in sin, you get further away from God. Your heart gets hardened because you become arrogant, you become prideful, you become self God, right? You worship yourself. You think you can do it all, you can know it all. Especially for those who have a lot of money, like I've done all this on myself. They become very boastful, prideful, self worshiping. Like dude was like, I'm this, I'm that. No, you're not. You're not no better than any other human being on this earth. And for him to think like that is a mental health issue. He's sick in the mind. Hurting people hurt people. And some people are just psychotic, you know. This guy is a psychopath. For him to have these thoughts and to think that this stuff is okay, and the people that's cool with him, just like how the people who's around Diddy, they say, even the bodyguard, I'm getting tired of hearing his mouth. He said he'd rather make a slow nickel than a fast dollar or whatever, right? Only reason he's saying that now is because the slow nickel he's talking about is what he's getting from these interviews. Now that Diddy's locked up and not giving him that bag, you're around this man doing this type of stuff, you're just as guilty. Whenever you watch sin, you're a sinner as well, and therefore you will be judged as well. Just like in the world that we're here now, right? You ever heard party to a crime? Yeah, you will be charged with that. I've been charged with that. You don't stop the crime by calling the law and you witness it, you're just as guilty as the person doing it. Therefore, you're being held accountable as well. So that's what I mean by, you know, this life and in the physical life, the balance of them both. You got to really be mindful of what you're thinking about. And if you don't check your own thoughts when they're unaligned with Christ, You're a part of the problem. You're a part of this world. This world is a fallen place. You know, all of the fallen angels came down here because their thoughts wasn't in line with God's thoughts. They were jealous, envious, whatever the case may be. They had mental health problems. They weren't able to have emotional intelligence, so they acted out against God. And God was like, "Well, I might be nice, I might be cool, but you got me fucked up. Now get the fuck out of my face." I'm just, saying how I would have said. I would, you know what I'm saying? But hey, God is slow to anger. He probably was putting up with that shit for a bit, just like how he allowing this stuff to go on in the world now, and it's slowly but surely being cleaned up. You know what just happened in Japan? There was no accident. No matter how these people want to play with each other, but when you keep playing with the devil, God allowed him to go ahead and take them because he was like, I've been talking to them for a while. Go and have fun. And the thing what some people don't notice is that God and the devil is the yin and the yang. You know, God always trying to talk to you, and the devil he just offers you another option. You get to choose on which route you want to take. You can't blame the devil. You can't blame God. You have to be accountable, and that's what a lot of people do not want to do. So they fuck around and don't worship God. They don't worship Satan. They want to become atheists, and they have no spiritual protection. And these are a lot of the people that be used by the spiritual realm because their minds are drifting off from not being aware of what true power they have, not tapping in. That's why I spend time enjoying peace in his presence. I don't have to be thinking like this world, you know. The devil always want to play with your mind, like, hey, I'll help you out right now. We can go get it like this. You feel me? What is you waiting on? Why you want to have faith? Why you want to have patience when I got it? Same way he did Jesus. He's like, I know you hungry, dog. Won't you go ahead and turn this stone into bread if you really the true to God, the Son of God. He attacking his identity. He's testing him there. Same way he does all of us. For those who are not strong minded. But God simply told him, Jesus simply told him, get behind me, Satan. Do not test your God. And he let that be that. You know, a lot of people need to be telling the Satan no. When you're tempted to do certain things, I'm talking about people in position, regular people anyway. Um, you look at your celebrities, you look at your entertainers, and you see that they're the exact same way. They're following up behind these billionaires, these trillionaires. They don't have no mind of their own, and a lot of them are self-centered, so arrogant that they got the world worshiping them. So they're going to just have fun with that. You know, people so caught up in what people do, and I'm just looking at it by the thousands, trolls putting these entertainers up on a pedestal, watching us use us to be entertained, to distract each other while stuff like this is going on. Meanwhile, people not in a position to be maintaining, right? They're being used by the enemy, hooked on drugs, hooked on alcohol, hooked on addictions, porn and thieving and whatever the case may be, right? No accountability, lost in this world, and strongholds are being tightened up on them so they can't break free because they don't think for themselves, they don't use their mind, they don't seek Jesus at all because Jesus is being took out of this world. Hollywood pushing this demonic stuff more and more and more. You can't escape it. But you do have the power to denounce it, to guard your mind, guard your thoughts, and not be consuming all of this negative stuff, right? I don't even really watch rated R movies or TV shows anymore because that's all you're going to get. Subliminal messages on how to worship the devil and be demonic and have no accountability, you know, not to even be want to be holy at all. But hey, to each his own, right? If the world was to end right now, some people not sure if they're going to make it to heaven or not. They're not even sure if these demons or deities or whatever they rishas or whatever they be calling on is going to have a place for them to be at peace. I mean, it's something to really think about. Y'all doing all this witchcraft, playing with all these different religions. Who offering you real true peace? You know, this world is going to end. This reality is going to end. And when it's all over with, a lot of you guys are going to be lost in the spirit world because all of these different spirits y'all play with, none of these spirits offer you eternal life other than Jesus Christ. None of these other spirits have died for your sins. They don't give a fuck about you. But guess what? They'll give you what you want as long as you do something for them. I mean, come on now. Some people so fucking miserable because they want a quick dollar and they doing all this stuff, and now they realize like, hey, I ain't know that it come with this. Oh yes, it does. And they've agreed to do whatever they're doing. Now they're bound by that stuff. Don't let these people fool you with the money. He got millions and millions of dollars. Is he happy though? Is he at peace? Can he lead you to peace and happiness? Hell no. Now I don't agree with. I know everybody deserves mercy and grace. Everybody, no matter what you did or who you are. We're not to judge people for their shortcomings. You don't know why people do what they do. It doesn't matter. But we're not to judge people say they don't deserve mercy or grace. When you fuck up, God has mercy and grace on you. So why not have it on his other children? He cares about us all. He provides for the saint and the sinner. So it's not your job to be God and determine who gets what and who has what. That's what the world problem is now. That everybody want to be God. Same way with all of this beef and stuff. Like, oh, karma. 50 is Diddy's karma. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Whenever you try to take God's place and you think you're doing what God is supposed to be doing and what he said he would do, that's what you're doing, becoming God. And you're trying to show the people, I am God and I'm doing what God ain't did yet. Basically, in my opinion. And that's mocking God. A lot of these entertainers, that's all they know how to do. And get you to follow suit to do the same. Take the plank out of your own eye before you worry about your brothers. Straighten up your path before you go worried about the next person. I wasn't there when they had this stuff going, and I don't condone any of it. All of it is wrong. I like Diddy. I like 50. I don't like their activities. I don't like their behavior. And that's just my truth. As black men, to be so silly and foolish, they don't represent us the way that we do. That's why I don't consider myself a black man or the Black Lives Matter. I didn't partake in all of that stuff because look what's going on with us, right? And we so lost in the sauce that we don't see anything wrong with it. We just so distracted with the bullshit. Meanwhile, remaining in poverty, remaining stuck, remaining victimized. A lot of y'all got that victim mentality. Oh, the white man. But we tear ourselves down. We bring ourselves down. We help the white man do it. And it ain't even no white or black thing. It's just dumb and smart. Wrong, right. People so lost in this world they can't even tell the difference. And that's so sad. But hey, that's where discernment comes from when you have the Holy Spirit in you, not these demonic spirits that don't tell you the truth, that keep you so disoriented and so delusional. I think all of this goofy shit is cool to be partaking in. I just seen the video the other day, right? This lady, I ain't gonna say too much about it, but anyway, she put a video out for whatever reason. She looked dumb at the end of the day, but anyway, she say my neighbors complained about the noise, right? Disturbing the peace. And then she recording a video dancing on the stairway with two little girls. They probably like 5 or 7, between 5 and 7. And everybody in the comments just like, yeah, ooh, they agree with this behavior. I'm like, here go the blind leading the blind. You're supposed to be an adult and you have little children partaking in this negativity. All y'all ass gonna be homeless in a bit. People like, oh, it's the pettiness, it's the pettiness. That is a spirit of provoking. when you already disturbing the motherfucker, when you don't have any type of consideration, this the blind leading the blind. This is what I mean by drifting. She's so caught up in this 50 Cent being petty stuff that she don't have no compassion, no sympathy to no type of respect to even be no type of awareness either that you're a disturbance. You're a disturbance. Well, whatever you were doing, it's a way to do things. That don't mean just be unruly, right? And when a person has a problem with it, you should be open to correction. And that's a foolish way to be when you're not open to correction. Not all the time you're right, no matter how you feel about what's going on, no matter how you think about it, no matter what it looks like. Sometimes you're just wrong. Like I say, when you're constantly not checking yourself and you're constantly living in sin, it don't matter how long you've been doing it. You pretend you get these habits and you think that they're right, until somebody check you about it. Or it's time to deal with your consequences. And I'm like, look how foolish this person is. Diddy being petty, 50 being petty, Marlon Wayne's being petty. That type of energy, right, is pushing on the people. They entertained by this stuff. Now they're going out imitating this same behavior. You're not in position to take care of yourself once these people really put those consequences on you, right? Because they already be like, we told you once to pipe down with the noise and the disturbances. Now you're doing it again. Go and get the fuck on. Right before the holidays, she'll be homeless with those two kids. The kids thinking that this is the right behavior to do because the adult is ignorant and lost in the mind. Stuff like this, right? Influencers putting these entertainers on a pedestal, idol worshiping these people to where you acting like them and you're fucking around, taking yourself out of position. And I'm just like, wow. And I look through the comments, a lot of people just lost this video, the person making the video. They are just lost individuals. That's why I say the world is a lost, fallen place. The blind leading the blind. So many blind people just running after the crowd. Whenever you're aligning with this world, you're agreeing with this world, you should know that this is a big red flag to where you're on your way to eternal damnation. And then a lot of people want to argue about that, like, oh, okay, fuck around and find out. When this world is over with, we'll see what's real and what's not. What do you have to lose? Just because I believe in Jesus, that don't mean that you have to attack me. But the Bible warns about this because he know who his enemies is. And he letting us know, like, when you join me, you're going to be persecuted. People hate the truth. And then I be having a lot of people don't rock with me, but they be watching my shit. This bitch named Stacy. I'm like, well, damn, I feel like I got a clone out here reworking my work. Every time I do something, I see the notification, motherfucker, talking about the same stuff. I'm like, why you don't just come support me, dog? You a fan already. And yeah, I'm saying it because, like, I know what's going on because I ain't been saying nothing, but damn, dog, been doing this shit for a bit. And that's how people do too. They want to copy a motherfucker, copy paste. Like, live your life, dog. If I lead you to hell, you want to come? You don't know me, dog. But if you want to get to know me, I see you a fan. Like, shit, fuck with a nigga. Support a nigga. Don't be in the trenches hiding and trying to implement what I'm doing because it's funny to me. It's entertaining. And I get that a lot too. Those hindering spirits, those monitoring spirits, motherfucker want to watch and go report. Yeah, stuff like that too, right? But I have a discerning spirit. I'm filled with the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. And he lets me know about these things. That's why then earlier today at like 10 o'clock, I be going live like 10, 11, because I don't get up or I fell off a bit, right? My 10 o'clock schedule. And I kind of stopped doing that because of somebody else I used to mess with named Devorah, I think. She was doing it at 10, and I got the idea from her. A lot of stuff that I was doing, I got from her. And I reached out to her because she was still doing her thing, but I didn't want to step on her toes. She goes on at 9, so I go on at 10. An hour later, but we still trying to lead people to Christ. And she just wrote a book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but stuff like that, right? If somebody inspired you, go ahead, let them know, like, you inspire me, I'm doing well, I want to collab with you or whatever, right? Give people their flowers while they're here. Don't act like you that person and then you need this person to help you carry on what you done started that you don't even know what you're doing. I find it quite amusing. And just to be honest, this is exactly what these celebrities are doing. They're trying to be like the people that they look up to, who they're getting these checks from. I'm not receiving checks from every and anybody, but what I'm doing, I enjoy, I'm passionate about, and this is my purpose in life. Now, you're not purpose. I mean, you're not passionate about what I do. Therefore, you don't have an idea on what to do. And I encourage you and I advise you to spend time with yourself to figure out who you are so you don't have to try to be me and wait on me to do everything. You feel me? And if you want to collab with me, I could teach you what I know, private personal consultant. I help guide and lead people in the right direction. But my shit ain't for free. So that's what a lot of people trying to do. They trying to go around my resources, my authority, and they fuck around, find out that you had to come right back to the source. Just like a lot of y'all people want to demon worship and do all of this weird activity, and you realize like, hey, they don't have true power like Jesus Christ does. And to be frankly honest, you're gonna choose the side whether you want to or not. When we go meet our Creator, He's gonna say, "Get from by me, y'all did not know you." Because you did not know me, you did not represent me, you did not accept me in your walk in life, and I'm not going to represent you in the spiritual life. Be gone. He ain't gonna say it in that way, but basically that's what he's saying when it's like, come time to meet your maker. When you like, oh, I denounce God, I denounce Jesus, and all of this activity that's going on, ramping up, because the devil is strategic and he's patient and he's building his army. People just so lost, drifting in the world, and they're being used to help build Satan's army. And they think there's no heaven, there's no hell, be your own God, woo woo woo, whatever, right? To each his own. But when it's all over with and it's time for judgment, you're going to have to answer for the way that you're thinking, the way that you're living, and the way that you're not living, if not holy, which means sets apart from this world. Everybody want to be like everybody, and everybody not knowing that this is not the way to be. And I mean, this is just awareness video of what's really going on. People are distracted, but the enemy is tactful, and he's using these tactics to keep you distracted and also to keep you a part of his army. Hating on other people, spreading gossip, um, just those low vibrational activities, right, that goes on throughout social media, like how they was hating on Casanet. He took that humbly, and I'm proud of him, even though I don't know what they're into. I don't worship these people, but the way that he did it was a true example on turning the other cheek, right? That we was encouraged to do when you're being attacked, you're being slandered, they're trying to talk about the man or whatever, compare him to Diddy, which isn't cool. Whether he's his son, his child, or whatever, it don't matter. The man is there to receive accolades for his achievements and for his sacrifice, his time, his efforts, his work, his. He had a damn academy, a fucking school, whatever. They trying to teach people how to do content creating and stuff like that. And he get up on stage, he just say, "Man, I just been taking a break from my mental health. I've been doing what make me happy, watching anime, uh, whatever." He named a few things that he's taking time to do because it makes him happy. And what he's realizing is that all of this stuff in the world don't matter. The pursuit of happiness is a virtue, just like patience is a virtue. It's something to be obtained. It's something to go for. But it's a constant pursuit, and it's something that you have to maintain. You don't get it and just got it. You have to maintain it and constantly pursue it if you lose it. And I'm really proud of him for taking that route. That's a high route. He could have got down on Shorty that was talking crazy. But you see how lost she is. You want to see her and use your time, your spotlight to down someone else. She's lost. And quite frankly, she just put herself in position to get her own feelings hurt. When you hurt someone else, when you're hurting, you hurt someone else. And that's what she was trying to do. But it backlashed to her to continuously be hurting until she spent time healing her traumas or whatever wrong with the girl. But she didn't expect for him to have people to back him up. It don't matter if you like somebody or not. When they're God protected, you fucking with God at this point. He didn't even have to fight his own battles. Whether you want to call it demonic or not, I don't know. You could do two things at the same time. Two things could be true at the same time. He probably in the industry, he probably not. And even he is, he still has a heart for Jesus. He probably in too deep. Like a lot of people get in too deep. Like DMX was in too deep. and other people was in too deep. Once they really realize what they're into, they don't know what come with this stuff. A lot of people don't know what come with anything until they're into it. But you're never too lost. You're never too far away from God to where He can't reach you. From Jesus Christ, He came to die for us. But people don't care. They take it for granted, and they go around Christ. It's like that. Go around me for my resources. They go around Jesus for the spiritual resources. The one who created this whole everything. They don't want to come to Him for what He is and what He creates. They want to go around Him, and they realize like this is not from God. That's why this doesn't last. That's why this doesn't bring me happiness, true peace. That's why this stuff is a shamble, shambling my whole life in other areas, right? I just dropped a highly recommended video. Well, actually live that y'all should go check out. December the 8th. Yeah, December 8th or the 9th. Basically the one before this. Yeah. It's titled Demonic Objects. So yeah, I don't know the date, but that's the title. Go check it out. You won't be highly happy and appreciative that you check that out, because this is some other tactics that the enemy used to get to you spiritually. The mind is a terrible thing to waste, and the mind is the battle where it all starts, where it all begins, where it's constantly at. The devil wants you to be distracted. He wants you to be entertained with this nonsense so that you can be transformed into the nonsense. As I just gave a prime example, right? How 50 run around with that petty spirit, that provocative spirit, and now all of a sudden he got somebody doing the same thing to him, and they both got people out here acting just as dumb as they is, out here on some it's petty time. Okay, be careful who y'all playing with in these streets. Fuck around, become maker before you ready. Then you gonna really have to ask God, like, oh man, whatever, right? But anyway, peace and blessings. Team Angie, if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. I'm about to go watch my favorite TV shows on Ion. It's a station called It's On. They broke it down to ION, which is pretty dope. I like watching true crime type stuff. I would have been a detective if I wasn't following the devil, messing up my life. Because he takes your future away. Slowly but surely, situations that fuck up your future, just like with my background. I'm waiting on a man to prove if I could work here or work there, which is fucked up. I've changed my behavior, from a drug case I caught 2 years ago. I haven't done that in over 2 years. I don't plan on doing it ever again. But nevertheless, I made a mistake and I'm still paying for it. But I don't depend on man. I know that God is going to provide for me as He always do and as He continuously do. It's how He's been guiding me all this year. And the more I listen to His voice, the better my life gets. Just like He helped me escape that lifestyle, has some money waiting for me, and He has other things waiting for me if I continuously follow His path, follow His calling, and listen to His calling. And I seek Him each day in my life. So that's just my advice. It's how I have peace of mind in this chaotic world.